What's up, guys? Today I've got 5 decks that are overperforming in Darkmoon Faire for Wild, and these are decks that you can use to reach Legend, climb Legend, or pretty much do anything you want. They are not ordered in terms of which deck is literally best, but they are ordered in terms of what you might find fun to play. So first up we've got Odd Paladin, and pretty much Odd Paladin is no surprise. The big surprises here are Lothraxian and Carnival Barker. Those cards are overperforming. A lot of people said that they wouldn't be good at all or wouldn't see play in the deck. But one thing I found is that Lothraxian, as expected, is just a win con versus late game decks. A lot of decks that were able to stabilize on board by just clearing your minions after turn 6, 7, 8. Now they can't do that because Divine Shield presents a huge problem, and Oh My Yogg can also protect those boards, requiring them to use even more resources and not have any resources left over once your guys have Divine Shield. Also, Carnival Barker works better with Lothraxian up, of course. The 3-3 is still good, but it doesn't work as well once Lothraxian has been played. And if you can queue up a tour guide or pretty much anything with Carnival Barker, it's just the nuts. Sticking Silverhand recruits is good, buffing them is good. So overall, Odd Paladin is solid. And a lot of people said Oh My Yogg was going to be like the best card in the set. I'd say it's very good, but probably not like the best card in the set. If you just use it on curve, it usually screws your opponent in some way because they're not sure what to play around. This version doesn't run the other secret, but you could if you wanted to. Next up, we have Reno Secret Mage. So this is literally just Corbett and Meowth's Theorycraft deck. It works fine. The cards make total sense. Everything that you play fits right into the deck, and it's especially strong against aggro. It can beat up on Secret Mages. It can beat up on Odd Paladin. It does struggle a little bit versus late-game control-y type decks, but other than that, it's very solid. And if you've been queuing into way too much aggro, with people just trying to get free wins off of your janky decks, this is a great way to play new cards and still win some games. We actually don't run Alaneth in this version. Sage is just really good in general. Putting tempo on board with your 6-mana draw is just solid, and Alaneth kind of struggles with this deck because a lot of the cards are expensive and not as cheap to play as it is in regular Secret Mage, which I think now runs Sage and Alaneth. Next up, we have Big Priest. A lot of people don't like Big Priest, but this deck is just really good. It does struggle versus Reno decks, but it can beat those decks with super high rolls anyway, and it's just killer against aggro. So this particular version, I took out Barnes and I put in Wave of Apathy, so that we have some game against Darkglare. But if you're not seeing Darkglare, you can put Barnes back in. If you don't like Barnes, don't play him. Pretty much any removals are going to work for this deck. You're going to see a lot of different lists, but I promise you, running the Scrapyard Colossus, Blood of Goon, and Vargoth is core. I've seen people running Yasharaj, not good. I've seen people running the 9-mana 4/8, also not good. Just trust me, this is the right suite of minions to play, and you guys are going to have great results with this deck. Next up, we have 0 new cards Malygos Druid. So if you hate Big Priest, this is the deck you should be playing. So Big Priest doesn't really matter if they get on board, as long as you have the armor to survive until your combo turn, you're good to go. Of course, some people do want to play new cards, and if you want to play new cards, I wouldn't recommend this deck because there are no new cards that make sense in it. But it beats up on Priests especially, and Priests are probably going to take over the ladder here soon, and if they haven't already at your rank, then this might be a deck you want to get ready, and if they have taken over, this is a deck you can play. At High Legend, there are a ridiculous amount of Priests, and also a lot of Hyper Aggro. This can beat Hyper Aggro by just armoring up and ramping to Spreading Plague, and Priest, it just absolutely destroys all versions of. They have no counterplay, and with no counterplay, you're just good to go. So this deck is solid, doesn't run new cards, but I would recommend it if you want to win. And last but not least, we have Reno Priest. So this particular version runs, again, Wave of Apathy and Ruin for Darkglare, But if you're not seeing that, then I would cut Wave of Apathy and Dark Lair for just Mana Feeder Panthara, Forbidden Words, stuff like that. The two new cards that we run are Insight, the 2-mana draw with Corrupt that discounts it if you corrupt the card, and also the 3-mana So next up we have Reno Priest. Of course, this is a deck that you guys have seen many times before, but basically we just put in Insight and Palm Reading into the deck. Generally, these cards are good because they discount and Insight draws. I don't think Palm Reading is necessarily the best card in the deck. I think it could be cut quite easily, but I think Insight is a fantastic 5-star card that makes the deck way better. You can draw it off of Shadow Vision, so Shadow Visions offers you a cheap draw now, which is cool. And in general, just discounting minions and drawing minions is a great thing for this deck. So Reno Priest definitely got better. It does have a very favorable matchup against Big Priest, and of course aggro as always. Odd Paladin did get a bit worse with the cards I mentioned, but pretty much everything is going to be as good as before. So those are the 5 decks. I'll put them in the description. If you guys have other decks that you feel like are performing really well, feel free to put them in the comments for others to share and see. And really that's it. If this video provides you some value, then make sure to like, support it, subscribe, check me out on Twitch. And I'll see you on ladder.